And at that point, that's when my symptoms really progressed and blew up and intensified. And that's when I realized that I had long COVID. But prior to that, in the fall of 2021, my new doctor was starting to investigate post-viral illnesses and the start of long COVID, just not knowing what it was.
Welcome to the Long Haulers, the official podcast of the post-COVID support community, where members connect with experts and other long haulers to learn how to heal from the effects of post-COVID. Here's your host, Munish Joshi.
Hey, welcome back to the podcast. And today we're actually talking to a patient and a person. I was going to say a survivor, but that means it's sort of over. But it's somebody who's still surviving post-COVID or long COVID, for those who are more comfortable with that sort of terminology. And this is Heather. And Heather, you work in aquatics recreation. That you've been doing this for 20 plus years. I assume you love it, because nobody stays at a job for 20 plus years unless they love it. And you're married. You have 3 kids, a variety of ages, and you have a dog named Winston. What kind of dog is it?
He's a Wheaten Terrier.
A Wheaten Terrier. Like a Will Wheaton Terrier?
Yes.
I don't know if you watch Big Bang Theory. That's just a joke on there.
Yeah. I love that show.
Okay. So, Heather, thank you for joining us. We appreciate the fact that you're talking about your experiences with post-COVID. So we'll call it long COVID, because I think that's generally what people will call it. That. So when it comes to long COVID, I'd love to know how long have you had COVID? And let's start with that. And then I'll tell you what the second question is, just so you can plan for it. And that is, how long have you had COVID? And tell me what your life was like before COVID and what it's like since you've had COVID, or really from now moving forward.
So it's a very full question and completely night and day. So I've had 3 infections. My first infection was at the very beginning of the pandemic, March 2020. Yeah. And I remember looking at the TV and the news and watching and chatting with my parents on if you need certain food or medicine, you need to go get it. And here I was at home sick, not really knowing what lay ahead of me. And I remember going to the doctor, and I fit all of the criteria on the sign that said, don't come in if you have X, Y, and Z. And the doctor said, oh, no, come on in. You haven't traveled. You're young. You're fine. Yeah. 100% though, it was COVID at the time. And so I struggled with that journey for the better part of about 1.5 years, a little bit less than that.
So from a year, sorry, just out of curiosity, from 1.5 years from the first infection, you had the symptoms at that point?
I did, but to a lesser extent. So the only symptoms that I had after my first infection was lingering fatigue that I just couldn't seem to kick. Okay. And my immune system was affected. So I kept getting sick on a very frequent basis. I was on antibiotics almost every month, and I was on a steroid quite often as well, probably every other month. And that lasted for quite a long time.
And just to help people understand what that's like, so you're describing that you probably had respiratory issues still. You still had a cough or a fever, that sort of stuff?
I did.
And that's what persisted?
I did. I had respiratory issues.
Okay.
Yes, and I kept getting more frequent infections. So my biggest thing that had changed was my immune function and my ability to fight off other viral or bacterial infections that normally I could. Okay. And then the level of fatigue. And I kept going back to my doctor at the time. And eventually, after the better part of a year, she just said, Heather, you're getting older. For the record, I was only 40 years old at the time, which I don't think is older. You just need to be okay with being less active. You need to meditate a little bit more, do some yoga. Or if you don't want to switch lifestyles, then you need to be okay taking antibiotics once a month. And I thought, well, I'm super open-minded. I'm into all kinds of different things, but that answer just doesn't really sit well with me. Okay. And so I sourced out a new doctor, and then I had my second infection in December 28th of 2021. And at that point, that's when my symptoms really progressed and blew up and intensified. And that's when I realized that I had long COVID. But prior to that, in the fall of 2021, my new doctor was starting to investigate post-viral illnesses and the start of long COVID, just not knowing what it was.
Interesting. And so those are the 2 infections. And was that 2 infections, or is there a third time that you got?
So I did get a third infection. Okay. I got it in April of 2022. Okay. And often when you say you've had 3 infections, people think, oh my gosh, you must be out and about and doing everything and more careless and not as careful. And that is completely the opposite. Most people think we are completely paranoid. We mask 100% of the time inside. We don't dine indoors because of what my experiences were. I just seem to be able to pick things up. Obviously, my immune function has been affected, but to answer the second part of your question, how my life has changed from pre-COVID to now, it's night and day. I had a very busy, full life, arguably maybe too busy prior to getting infected. I was super active. We cycled all the time. I cycled to work, which was a 20-kilometer round trip. I did that at least 3 times a week. We cycled as a family on the weekend, 30 to 50 kilometers. We went to the gym. I swam. I did strength training. We rock climbed. We skied. We snowshoed. We were a very, very active family. I was walking outside every day like that. And I have come to realize through this process that fitness and an active lifestyle is definitely one of my core values, which is probably why I struggle so much right now with the change. But that has drastically changed. And it's hard. It's a big lifestyle change to adapt to and to work back towards, because I am determined, come hell or high water, I will get there. It's just going to take a bit.
What I find interesting, Heather, is I talk to a lot of people, and I've had a lot of conversations with people over the last few years. And that notion of who gets sick, that profile that some people believe, is somebody who's just not paying attention, who's unhealthy, and that's why they got sick. But you're the epitome of health. You're very active. You have all these qualities, and as a parent too, you tend to take care of things, keep things neat and tidy, and keep germs down, and you tend to keep on top of health where possible. And you're the kind of person who could get infected because you're just trying to live life and you don't know where an infection is and how to get it and that, but you took all the necessary precautions, and then lo and behold, you get sick. Now, I'm curious to see how much this has impacted you. If you were able to cycle 20 kilometers, then how much can you cycle now?
Zero.
And just out of curiosity, is that because of fatigue? Is it a balance issue? What is it for you specifically?
So I have post-exertional malaise, so the cycling is causing crashes, and I work with a long COVID physio program that's phenomenal, and they are metric-based, so they use the data from my smartwatch to track my heart rate and monitor it. And the idea was to try to slowly build my energy envelope and my tolerance within a very prescribed heart rate zone, and I'm just not able to tolerate it. We've tried so many times, and each time I cycle back, I have since come to learn, though, that the reason why is I have orthostatic intolerance. So a lot of people would call it POTS, and whether I have the tachycardia part or not is still to be determined. I bounce about 25 beats per minute difference, and the qualifying criteria is 30. So who knows? Maybe I do, maybe I don't. But either way, I fall under that orthostatic intolerance. And so part of that is that your body just doesn't tolerate upright activity the same way that it would pre-infection or for a quote unquote normal person. So that's why I was struggling with cycling. So we've switched gears to recumbent exercise.
What's a recumbent exercise?
So anything we're in a horizontal position. So swimming, rowing, and there was one more that I can't think of right now, but swimming and rowing. So I swim, that's my background. And it feels so good to be back in the water. And physically, my body seems to be able to tolerate it significantly better than cycling. And so the idea is that eventually that will translate over the course of a number of months into upright activity so that I will be able to cycle again. That's the goal. My heart rate is a lot higher than they would like it to be in the pool, and I'm not swimming nearly to the intensity that I was pre-infection even a year ago, but I am able to tolerate it. So it's a step. It's a first step in the right direction, hopefully.
I got to say a couple of things here because you've got a lot of great information there. Number one, when you said crash, that's not a crash of the bike. It's a term that's often used to say that when you exceed your energy envelope, you pay for it. And basically, you hit post-exertional malaise. Your body just says, I can't take it. And the energy envelope is blown and you're exhausted. It's extreme fatigue at that point, just for people who are observing.
Yes, correct. And it's like tiredness that you've never experienced before. I've tried to explain to people what it is, and I don't know how to find the words to describe the intensity.
I was just going to say that it's different for everyone, but just so people know, it's not just a physical, I'm just tired. That it also affects every other system. You start to get mental fatigue, you struggle for words. And this is important for people to know because we often talk about it. You're doing everything right in the therapy side of things where you got to find out your energy envelope. You got to operate within it, and slowly you stretch out the envelope and you start to get to a level where you can start to live life normally again. There's a way to get there safely. If you push too hard, you break it and you have to start over and you take a big step back. And that's what we try to avoid in treatment. So, but it is, if you're having difficulty finding words, memory issues, and that, and you've just done something semi-active, and it could be a little thing for people with POTS, which is a cardiovascular issue, or you have the elevated heart rate. In your case, you're if you can go up the flight of stairs, get up and just do a simple task and feel lightheaded, those are indicators that you may have other challenges that are coming in. So I just want to paint the picture for people to say that what you're
For
describing
sure.
here, there's a little bit more to it. So that's what it was like then. And are you seeing progress through this technique of where you extend, you slowly hit your envelope and then you stretch it and stretch it? Is that working for you?
So I am learning how to increase my energy envelope. I think that's probably one of the hardest things on this journey. I was a person, as I said, that was very busy. I was always on the go. I was always doing something. And maybe that's one of the lessons that I'm meant to learn in this journey, is how to slow down. But it is very hard to switch mentalities of how to pace yourself and rest. And it's very hard not to compare to pre-illness.
Yes.
So when I'm talking about pacing, my mindset always goes back to, but I could do this before until I got tired. There's no way now. As you said, I get a burning headache. I can't find the words. I can't function. I get nauseated. I get lightheaded, on and on and on. So it's finding that balance before those symptoms hit is the key. And I haven't learned that yet. I'm still in that journey.
And I was going to say, there's some challenges to you're a parent, and when you're working with your kids, and I was going to ask you from experience, when I often talk to people about this, if you ever have a time where you're angry with it could be with your spouse, but I assume it's just the kids, but you start to get emotional, you elevate yourself, your heart rate goes because you're angry. Does it produce the onset of symptoms? Have you experienced that? And if so, have you managed to end the trend before it leads to something more negative?
I guess to a certain extent, yes, but not to the same extent as the physical exertion. So emotional definitely can trigger it. For me personally, I don't find it triggers it as much or as intensely, though, as the physical exertion does.
So what are if I can ask you, what are the 3 most common symptoms that you've got that are causing you the greatest discomfort with post-COVID?
So extreme fatigue / post-exertional malaise is definitely one of them. And I've come to discover through this process that maybe there is a connection to chronic fatigue syndrome and some of the journey that people with that condition have experienced, and the link, and learn from some of what they've gone through. I think there's a big opportunity there. Headache. So I've never been a headache person. I know some people are more prone than others. And when I've occasionally got them in the past, I've always got what I would refer to as a tension headache. These are more like a burning headache. So it feels like my head is almost on fire or tingling in certain spots. And they come on, I don't know why, just because they're pretty consistent. And if I'm overexert, then they definitely make themselves more prominent. And Tylenol doesn't work. People will say, just take a Tylenol, it'll help you feel better. It doesn't do anything.
Is there anything, like, it's interesting when you talk to people that there isn't a magic pill that anyone can take that just resolves something. You take this pill and 20 minutes later you're feeling better than 30, and it just, there isn't that sort of stuff, unfortunately, with long COVID. But it's quite surprising to some people when there are certain things and behaviors and treatments and protocols that you can follow that minimize the onset of symptoms or help you manage the symptoms back to a level where they're resolved. In your experience with headaches, and let's use that as an example, unless you want to go into some other area, is there something that you've done that says, wow, when I do this, the headache is under control and dissipates, or I can stop it from coming on? Any tips you have for anybody?
The only thing that will help for a headache for me is rest. I need to get my body back from that fight or flight, which it always seems to be in. Try to calm down the autonomic system. The other big symptom for me is I get really heavy hands, like when your foot falls asleep, that tingly feeling. That's what my hands feel like. Sometimes my feet, it's more, and they get splotchy, and that's more prominent in the morning. And I'm
prior to getting
pretty convinced that it's connected to POTS.
Sorry, is that, or just...
There's no connection, whether headache or a completely different symptom, but that's the one that I've been able to control the most, I think, because I think it is connected to the orthostatic intolerance. So that's something that I'm able to have. I'm working through again, but a little bit of control at least through it. So I've increased my salt intake drastically.
What's interesting, I have a friend I was out for lunch with, a couple of friends, and this one friend in particular was starting to squint when I was talking to them. And he goes, I'm getting a headache. I don't know what's going on. I said, are you sensitive to lights? He said, no, he's not. I go, people who squint like that and doing what you're doing, massaging the bridge of your nose and going to the temples and doing that, it's typically a sign that you're hypersensitive to the light. So we switched spots. He said it got a little bit better, but it wasn't quite working right. One eye was sore, but that's where the TV monitor was. We switched again, and he said, and I told him to hold a cold glass of water. He held the cold glass of water. Then eventually he had his wrists on the water like this to help cool it. And the headache he had, within about 3 minutes, it was large. He said, I can really feel it passing. And he kind of reset. It was kind of weird. And this is one of those things that for some people with headaches, they said this shift in temperature gets the brain to shift in a different area. And
Mm.
one of the things that you talked about was that fight or flight. So just want to share that tip with people that sometimes these things
Awesome.
your brain is trying to close a loop, figure out what's going on, and it causes the fight or flight sort of situation. Everyone goes to the doctor first. That's where we typically say, I'm not feeling well. Let's call the doctor. And you expect them to know what they know. This is a new virus. So not every doctor is as well in tune with some of the stuff that's out there. And there's a lot of information out there. They don't know what's the right source. They could have just picked the wrong source of information to go with. But tell me about your first experience with the doctor, because you did say you switched to a different provider. What was that first experience like, and why did you switch?
With the
Yeah.
new provider? Fantastic. Super supportive, super
Mm-hmm.
empathetic.
So the first doctor wasn't supportive
Very,
and wasn't empathetic? Okay.
not at all. The first doctor was, to use a very trendy term right now, it was completely gaslighting me. And I just didn't realize it at the time. I had some sort of inclinations along through different family members and different things that came up. And this was the straw that broke the camel's back. But it's hard to find a doctor, and it's hard to find a doctor you trust. So I stayed with that doctor until I found one that I thought was a better fit. And I am so thankful that I was able to switch prior to the second infection when I got really sick, because there's no way that I would have received the same support and medical care with my old family physician.
And just out of curiosity, if you could go back and tell yourself a little piece of advice on how to assess the doctor, what would you look for, or what would have made you realize something sooner?
So I think just listening to my gut, I'm a huge self-advocate, and I think that is one thing that is super important, especially along this journey. As you mentioned, it's all new, and doctors and the healthcare system in general, especially right now, are overwhelmed, and they don't have the time and the capacity to be able to learn about everything that's changing, especially in the evolving condition. However, I've taken it personally upon myself to educate and learn. And so I bring that information forward, and I've asked for so many referrals and requests, and thankfully this doctor has been supportive and done all of that for me. But I took some of that information, very limited, to my previous doctor, and they're the gatekeeper. And that doctor blocked me from pursuing specialists or tests, whereas this new family physician is all on board and said self-advocacy is wonderful and you probably know more than I do at this point. So however I can help support you, I'm happy to be on board doing
That's
so.
an interesting distinction. Even with I'm a caregiver to somebody in my household who has other types of chronic issues. And that was the big difference, is that the GP was not an obstacle, but somebody who said, I will help connect you to that pathway of care. And in this
That's
case,
right.
it's multi-symptomatic. You have post-exertional malaise. There's somebody who can help you with that. If you're having sleep issues, there's somebody different who can help you with that. If you're having chronic pain, there's somebody different. You had respiratory issues, and maybe an ENT would help you with something like that. So there's different people who have to get connected, but one person who can organize and look at the total picture should be your family doctor. So out of curiosity, we've heard about the negative, we've heard about the positive, but is there somebody who's is there a specialist or a type of therapy that's giving you the most benefit?
So besides the GP, as I mentioned, I think they are super supportive and encouraging. I think the private long COVID clinic that I've accessed has been the biggest catalyst in terms of helping me get to the point of where I am and continuing on my journey in regaining some of my energy and activity level. And I think part of that is because they use a metrics-based system that they're able to look at the hard data and build off of that.
You mentioned that, which is wildly powerful, because I tell people, and in clinic and in our community, we tell people about the importance of journaling, and what gets measured gets monitored
Mm-hmm.
and gets done. So when you see people who are having sleep issues, and I'll use that example here, you say, wow, I'm not getting good sleep, but a couple of nights here, because my tracker told me that I slept for 5.5 hours as opposed to 4 hours. What was the big difference? If you look back at what you did different, you might have said, what? I ate dinner earlier. And that could have been part of the reason why it's happening there. Out of curiosity, has the dogs helped you, or has Winston in particular, I think you have one dog, has it helped you with your healing at all?
He's definitely been my companion during the day when my husband and kids are at work
Mm-hmm.
and school. And we call him my nurse puppy. He knows when I'm not doing well and he follows me. He'll sit on the couch and lie beside me. He won't go upstairs, even if somebody else comes home, until I go upstairs. I'm not in a position right now to be able to go for walks, unfortunately, although I wish I could. But he definitely is a huge support at home, a big game
That's
changer.
awesome. That's beautiful. I talked to one other person who actually described something that you've described as well, where they've been doing swimming and aquatic rehabilitation is what they said. So with the aquatic rehabilitation,
Yeah.
they told me something kind of cool. They said they like to lie on their back and meditate in the pool. So that feeling of
Yeah.
weightlessness and that. And they said for them, it helped pull the muscles out, and every little crash in the wave pulled their muscles just a little bit. And it took the tension off their neck, took the tension. They said, always felt great getting out of the pool. Then when they got out of the pool, if they got a chill and they never walked by the windows anymore, they said when they got the chill, they'd clench up. So they would have this process of getting out of the pool after feeling like that, go to the hot tub, and then wrap up and go take a hot shower, and they would feel so reset. And then that was part of their sleep routine. So it was the coolest thing. Have you seen any of those sorts of benefits at all? Because you did mention the aquatic, and it's very unique that we have you here to talk about this. Has the water been a game changer for the way you heal?
Absolutely. But to be fair, to be completely transparent, I'm biased. Obviously, that's what I do for a living. I've drank the Kool-Aid. I
And you
believe
swim
in the
in it.
benefits
Yeah.
of water. Yeah, and I swim in it. The hydrostatic pressure of water alone, even if you're not doing anything, if you just stand or lie in the water, the hydrostatic pressure of the water against your body is enough to make a significant difference in terms of any swelling, any muscle and joint pain you might have.
You're 100% right. Our lead practitioner here has often talked about compression socks and compression stuff to help manage people who have
Yes.
cardiovascular type issues, and even just pain in general. And that. So you're 100% right. I can see why. And do you swim in chlorinated water or salt water, or I can't remember the other type of water?
Chlorinated water. Most municipal pools are chlorinated.
Yeah. And the reason why I asked the question is there's some interesting research a long time ago which said that the infection rates were lower in some of the tropical regions for a couple of different reasons. The smaller islands, you didn't see the infection flare up the same way with the locals. It was actually imported and then it flared up. But they said when lockdowns were happening, the locals weren't getting it because UV light was higher. And number two was the salt water and the salty air. And people who have asthma, when they go to these places, their breathing improves. So, and it's warmer water in that. So I was just curious if you're in your professional experience, I don't know what you do aquatically. I don't know if you teach people how to swim or if it's therapy in water. I don't know what you do at all, but
so both. I did, and I hold both certifications in terms of therapy and learn to swim and lifeguarding. But they're all still current. I can still teach and guard and whatever. But my real job is the program and customer service staffing aspect of it. I do the behind the scenes stuff.
It's fascinating to me. I love swimming. I love the water, but I don't get it enough. And to tell you the truth, I always tease my kids saying, what, the cannonball is a professional dive. And then I do a cannonball because they always want to do things like that. And one of the other common things that people do who have post-COVID to manage their discomfort, manage their symptoms, and to help improve and feel better is they often take vitamins and supplements. Are there vitamins or supplements that you have taken that you can say personally helps you? It doesn't mean it helps everyone. I have to give that disclaimer to everybody that this is Heather's experience, Heather's journey. Whatever she says here, you should always consult with your practitioner. You can ask other people within the community about some guidance here because brands can make a difference to some people as well. And other nuances to some of the products can make a difference too.
So I take 12 right now. I'm up to 12 in the morning and 12 at night. Yep. Wow. Because it's costly too. You have, right? They're not covered under benefits or OHIP. I do think they make a difference because I notice when I stop taking them, I can feel the onset of symptoms more. So they definitely help. Which ones specifically help more than others? That I don't know, because I take them all at the same time. So it's hard to say which is which unless I went off all and did one at a time to see the difference. I have played with them coming off of some and going back onto others. In terms of the ones that I've been most consistent with, I take zinc consistently. I take NAC, which is, I'm going to butcher the word, but nice. I don't know how to say it. It's NAC is it's a respiratory bronchial
I've never heard of it. Oh, yeah, but
supplement. It helps. And then I take vitamin B12, vitamin D3. I take probiotics to help my gut. I take magnesium and calcium. And then I don't know if you want to go into the other ones that I take. I do take other ones.
Yeah,
as well.
It seems to be no, we don't have to go into everything that's unique to you and specific to you. And everyone should recognize that these are things that are specific to the individual, not to anybody else. But no, but it's great. We had kind of a pre-conversation. There's ones that you take for nutrient value, which is things like the B12, things like the zinc. And then there's things that you take for your inflammation and things that you use to help manage your histamine. And that's what you've kind of done. And when you actually think about it, and for people who are watching and listening to this, those are three groupings of what's needed here. If you have inflammation, there are certain things that promote and reduce inflammations. If you have energy issues or other types of issues that require some additional minerals or nutrients to help, that's what the groups are for. So always talk to somebody who understands this stuff to help get what's right for you. And just out of curiosity, how important is the support system and the support people around you in the success of or in the improvement of your healing?
Really vital, like undescribable, essentially. Our family unit has changed significantly just in terms of what I'm able to do and what I'm not able to do, and the jobs and responsibilities that they have taken on, or the activities that I'm no longer able to do at the moment. And especially for our youngest two kids, they know my mommy's sick, and I physically, despite willing myself to do what they want to do, I physically can't. So it's a huge understanding and toll in terms of family and friends beyond our immediate people that live in our house. They are completely supportive and understanding. Again, things have changed, right? We don't go into people's houses and socialize the same way that we did pre-infection. I don't go into a restaurant and dine inside, which is something that we did before. Living in Canada, it's cold to be able to sit on a patio right now. So in the summer, that's great, but it changes the dynamics of social relationships in the colder months. So they need to understand that and not take it personally as to why we're not seeing them, or why I'm masking inside when I'm near them. It's nothing personal. It's not that I think they're irresponsible. It's just that I'm trying to protect myself from getting sick as much as I possibly can, because my immune system is so low. But without the support of my immediate 5 in the house and our extended family and friends, it would be an impossible
And Heather,
journey.
I'm not sure if you can see my screen that I'm sharing or not on your end, but I decided to share my screen and just to let other people see this with what the community has to offer as well. Because within the community here, there are support groups. There's also things like mindfulness for people who don't know how to do that. Meditation plays a huge role in managing your autoimmune system. And it's the fight or flight, as you mentioned before. And so there are courses that we have here that's all part of it that helps you in support groups. And there's also how to exercise and nutritional. There's a lot of different things here that help you. Breathing techniques and that you can do in the moment that don't look funny and that you can execute to help manage your symptoms. But how, out of curiosity, has mindfulness and that sort of meditative process and those breathing exercises, has that helped you?
It has. So one of the things that I've done is participated in a variety of studies. I've done the big Canadian one, CanCove. I'm still in the process of doing that. And then through them, I have access to other opportunities and different studies that have come up. One of them being a mindfulness study that was 8 weeks long. And every week we would do it was an hour and a half of different types of meditation and breath work. It makes a significant difference. The longer, sorry, sometimes the words, I know what I want to say, but I just can't find the dang word. The longer practices, that's the word I was looking for. The longer practices don't always work, just because I don't have the ability to concentrate or focus or the energy level to be able to do it for a long time. But the shorter practices make a huge difference. And even something on a smartwatch that's breath work for 5 minutes, breathing in for 4, holding for 4, breathing out for 4, holding for 4, and repeating, make a significant difference because it starts to trigger your vagus nerve center and your autonomic, and it just changes the dynamics of how your body
processes. It's interesting you were having the momentary loss of words. So I just want to show again in the community how there are articles on how to identify and manage the loss of words and some of the things that you can do that makes a difference in that. So I just want to tie in the fact that there are resources out there, and you can search all over the web for them, or you can search through one little environment. You can talk to people and get some help on how to access support. Yeah, I find it fascinating. I do always see that people who take mindfulness and do these breathing exercises, who've described fatigue, cognitive impairment, brain fog, or post-exertional malaise, and a variety of other issues, and often anxiety and stress too, how some of these techniques just help calm them and give them back some of their energy envelope so they can do more. And it sounds like that's working for you. And I just want to highlight that that's something that people can do. But you went through an 8-week study, an hour and a half, you said, for some of these sessions. And that it's amazing how you have to learn this stuff. It's not as simple as just repeating words, taking deep breaths and letting them out. There is a technique to finding your rhythm, and that works well for you. Would you agree with that? Or
different things work. I would say different things work for different people, right? We all like different types of book genres. Same sort of concept. There's different types of visualizations or meditations or breath work. What resonates with me might not resonate or work the same for somebody else. And if it's not working for you, then there's no point in doing it because it's doing the opposite of what it's meant to do.
Thank you, Heather. I do appreciate this time, and you're always welcome back. And we'd love to keep in touch and see what's happening with you in your journey in that. And if there's anything new that's been working for you, please let us know so we can tell the community and share your progress and your story.
So the only other thing I would say is a symptom tracker that I've started using recently.
It's interesting you should say that because we've got a symptom tracker that's in development right now because it actually ties. We split up into different sections here, but we actually are working on one there. Exactly that. I've got brain fog. So then the question is, what did you do beforehand? What did you do afterwards? Let's map what was going on, see if we can identify the triggers, and then look at techniques that work for you as an individual to resolve them. So that's the stuff that's a little bit trickier for some people to do. So technology can help play a role with that. Okay, maybe we should.
It's so easy just to say, I don't feel well or I have these symptoms consistently. But when you really become mindful and consciously aware of it, there are certain symptoms that are more predominant. And if you can link them to any sort of activities or see how often in terms of frequency and intensity, hopefully that helps create patterns.
It's interesting. I had a sleep tracking thing that was on my phone. It was a very strange one. You turn this thing on and you leave it on your bed and it measures the bounces. It listens to the sounds and it kind of comes up with a sleep map, and you start it when you're going to bed and it somehow figures out when you go to sleep and when you wake up. And it checks a bunch of stuff for you. And it came back with some interesting information, but it just showed me the amount of movement I had. And I didn't know. And my wife, her sleep was disrupted completely. And she's like, it's like an earthquake sleeping with you. And I had no clue I was flipping around so much. But then I got one of those watches to track stuff, and it was tracking my temperature. And what it noticed was my temperature was going up. And that's when you look at the two pieces of data, that's when I was tossing and turning more. So put a fan on my feet, problem went away. Simple little things. So anyway,
Awesome.
Heather, I do appreciate this. Thank you very much. And we continue to see you heal, and we enjoy that. And we look forward to connecting with you again.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of The Long Haulers, the official podcast of the post-COVID support community. We hope you enjoyed this episode and that it'll help you take a step toward leading a healthier, happier, and more productive life. Take charge of your recovery at postcovidcommunity.com, where you can learn more about membership benefits and join our newsletter to get the latest information and tips from our network of specialized healthcare professionals. And don't forget to follow us on YouTube and your favorite social platforms at Long Hauler Life. Please share this episode with other long haulers in need of assistance. Take care.